If you've been gardening for a while, you already know this. Healthy soil doesn't come from a bag, it comes from life. And yet so many gardeners still rush to buy synthetic fertilizers the moment their plants start looking tired. But what if I told you that long before store-bought fertilizers existed, gardeners used a simple, powerful, ancient liquid that restores soil, boosts plant growth, and brings tired gardens back to life, fast. This liquid is easy to make, costs almost nothing, and works whether you're tending a balcony container, a backyard bed, or an entire small farm. Today on Soil Stories, I'll walk you through exactly what it is, how it works, and why it has outperformed many fertilizers in real gardens, including my own. Let's dive in. When you hear ancient gardening wisdom, you probably imagine old farmers or indigenous communities using earth-friendly techniques long before modern agriculture. FPJ, fermented plant juice, is exactly that kind of knowledge. It has roots in centuries-old Korean natural farming, a method based on using local plants, microbes, and natural cycles to grow thriving crops. So, FPJ is basically a concentrated liquid that you get by fermenting fast-growing green plants with brown sugar. During this fermentation process, the plant tissues start to break down, and that releases growth hormones, enzymes, beneficial microbes, and trace minerals right into the liquid. The result? Well, you end up with a plant booster that wakes up the soil, energizes the roots, and really speeds up growth in a way that synthetic fertilizers just can't. While fertilizers, mainly feed the plants, FPJ actually feeds both the plants and the soil biology, creating balance, not dependency. One thing I really love about FPJ is how it supports the natural intelligence of the soil. Instead of forcing growth, it encourages plants to, activate their own growing power. If you've ever noticed how weeds seem to grow faster than anything else, or how fresh shoots pop up after rain almost overnight, that kind of energy is exactly what FPJ captures. So, FPJ is actually packed with natural growth hormones like gibberellins and cytokinins, which basically tell your plants to develop new shoots and leaves. But it doesn't stop there. FPJ also contains live microbes that help improve nutrient uptake, making the nutrients already in your soil way more available to your plants. The result you'll see is steady, natural growth. Think greener leaves, stronger stems, deeper roots, and honestly, better fruiting. And since it's natural and balanced, it never burns your plants, and it never destroys the life in your soil. One of the best things about FPJ is that you really don't need anything fancy. If you've got access to green plants and just a bit of brown sugar, you're already halfway there. But the plants you choose do matter. For the best results, you'll want to use fast-growing, vigorous greens like comfrey sweet potato vines, pumpkin vines, mugwort amaranth, or even young bamboo shoots. These plants, store tremendous energy, the same energy they'll release into your FPJ. You'll also need a clean jar with a loose-fitting lid, a clean piece of cloth, some brown sugar, and of course, a shaded place where the jar can ferment quietly. The process is simple, but honestly, there are small details that make the difference between a weak FPJ and a powerful one. Start by harvesting your plants early in the morning, since that's when their energy and nutrient content are highest. Chop the greens loosely, not too fine, just enough to expose the inner tissues. Then combine them with an equal weight of brown sugar. The sugar draws out the plant juices and basically helps the fermentation process. Once mixed, let the plants rest for about 30 minutes. You'll see liquid beginning to form at the bottom. Transfer the mixture into a clean jar and gently press it down. Cover the jar with a cloth or loosely fitting lid to allow gases to escape while keeping insects out. Leave it in a cool, shaded place for about 7 days. During this time, the greens release their natural juices, and beneficial microbes multiply. If you gently tilt the jar after a few days, you'll see a golden, fragrant liquid forming. This is your FPJ. On the 7th day, strain the liquid and store it in a dark bottle. This liquid can last more than a year if kept properly. This is where the magic happens. FPJ is incredibly concentrated, so you always dilute it before using it. A little goes a long way. For young seedlings, mix 1 tablespoon of FPJ with 4 liters of water. This gentle mixture encourages root growth and early leaf development without overwhelming the young plants. For vegetables in their growth phase, you'll want to use about 2 tablespoons per 4 liters of water. Go ahead and apply it once a week, either in the early morning or late afternoon. Your plants, well, they'll respond with vigorous new shoots and deeper, more vibrant green leaves. For fruiting and flowering plants, FPJ really strengthens resistance and improves nutrient absorption. You'll notice sturdier stems and, stronger flower formation too. You can even use it as a foliar spray. Plants actually absorb nutrients faster through their leaves than through their roots. Just make sure to spray on the underside of leaves, where the stomata are more active. You know, I've spent years experimenting with different soil boosters, and honestly, FPJ remains one of the most powerful natural liquids I've ever used. The very first time I tried it, I was honestly shocked by how quickly my plants responded. My kale went from pale and slow to lush and vibrant in just about 2 weeks. Tomatoes produced stronger vines, and even plants that were struggling in poor soil bounced back with new life. I also noticed the soil itself changed, which was really something. It became darker, softer, and more alive. You can always tell when the soil is thriving. Earthworms return, the soil smells rich, and water absorbs more evenly. FPJ helped build that kind of soil. One thing I tell everyone on soil stories is this: once you start feeding your soil instead of your plants, your entire gardening experience transforms. FPJ is honestly one of the easiest ways to begin that transformation. You know, it's tempting to go for a quick fix fertilizer when your plants look weak, but honestly, fertilizers are like fast food for plants. Quick energy with no long-term value. Over time, synthetic fertilizers damage soil biology, making your plants more dependent on chemical feeding. They just strip away the natural balance and eventually leave your soil pretty much lifeless. FPJ, on the other hand, works with nature, not against it. It enriches soil microbes, balances nutrients, and strengthens plants from the inside out. The more you use it, the healthier your soil becomes. And let's be honest, who doesn't want a garden full of life, not chemicals? If you've been searching for a natural way to boost your garden without relying on expensive fertilizers, FPJ is the perfect solution. It's simple, powerful, and rooted in ancient wisdom that has stood the test of time. This isn't just a gardening trick, it's a way of reconnecting with the natural cycles that make soil thrive. And here on Soil Stories, that's what we're all about, bringing life back to the soil, one gardener at a time. If this guide helped you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share this article with your gardening friends, and help spread the magic of living soil. Your garden and your soil will thank you.